Hey guys, it's me, Voyage. I'm back, and today I want to talk about where I think the next 6 characters are going to fall in the Marvel Strike Force. As you guys probably know, this game is very dependent on team-based combat. Originally when it first started, really, you could pretty much put whoever you wanted together on the team. Like really early in the meta, it was a Crossbones, Yondu, Quake, Captain America, Black Widow kind of thing. Really fun. And they've gravitated more towards having cookie cutter teams that you create. And I don't necessarily mind this, but I would prefer if there's a couple options to switch out on teams, which I think they do have on a couple of the teams we're going to talk about today. But I think there's a lot of room for improvement, and I don't really mind this whole cookie cutter team-based meta if there are a lot of other teams, and it's sort of now, instead of thinking on a character scale, you just think on a team scale automatically, and these characters act as a unit. And you're not really worried about an individual character, and you just automatically view them as a 5-character team, which I think sort of changes the perspective of the game, and I think makes this whole team-based meta a little less painful to sort of think about. So anyways, the 6 new characters that are going to be coming, not guaranteed, but I'm like pretty sure about this. You know, a lot of these YouTubers get sort of fed information by Fox Next. I'm glad they have a good relationship, but there's certain YouTubers that when they say something's a rumor, it's pretty much guaranteed. I'm not one of those, but there are some people that say things, they're like, oh, this might happen. It's happening. It's happening. So for this patch, we have Shatterstar, Longshot. We know about those automatically. Then we have 4 more characters. Probably going to be Iceman, Rogue, Shadowcat, and Gambit. So pretty cool roster right there of characters, but it's hard to say where these characters will fall, into our roster, because right now we have 12 sort of X-Men characters or X-Men adjacent characters, mutant heroes in the game, and most of those characters already fall on a team. Right now you have the 5 X-Force members: Native, Sonic, Deadpool, Domino, Cable, and X-23. And interestingly enough, though, they are giving X-23, they did already give her the Uncanny or Aspiring, or no, it's well, they're looking to get, I don't see it on here right now, but they were looking, I think they were going to add Uncanny as a tag. Yeah, so I thought they were going to give X-23 that tag, but at least you got synergy with X-Men, so maybe they are looking to move X-23 off of the XForce team, because Shatterstar was an XForce member. He's actually really famously an XForce member. That's what I first thought of when I saw that he was mentioned, that he'd be on the XForce, but they said X-Factor. It's kind of weird. I've done some research. We'll talk about that a little later. So he and Longshot are probably going to be on a team together, and I doubt they're taking 2 of these XForce members off the team. So kind of weird, especially because I was sort of disappointed with the X-Force, because I feel Colossus and Psylocke are core X-Force members in my mind, and neither of them made it on the team, and Psylocke already is a homeless character in my opinion. So I don't know, I was a little disappointed that they didn't put her on the X-Force team. I know some people use Psylocke on XMen teams, but I sort of prefer using Phoenix, Wolverine, and Cyclops as the core 3. Pretty much whenever I see written synergy with characters, I automatically use them on the team. How good that is, that's to be determined, but I prefer using synergy that the devs have written out. I prefer hard synergy as opposed to soft synergy, sort of characters that are written to work well together as opposed to characters we discover that work well together. I just think that's sort of, it makes it easier to run blitz and stuff like that. But so we have that 5 core X-Force member team. Then we have the X-Men team. Now, X-Men team gets a little wonky. Again, I consider Phoenix, Wolverine, Cyclops the core of that team. Who you put as the other 2, that can vary. I like using Beast and Cyclops because, again, Beast and Storm. I like using Beast and Storm because they have written synergy with each other, where Beast will allow Storm's charges to potentially not go away. Storm's still kind of garbage. Even with that, I think they should be like guaranteed to be like half go away or something like that. It's not enough right now, but they do have written synergy, so I do use them. But the thing is, Colossus also has written synergy with Phoenix. I think it's in his passive or something like that. Yeah, right here. So Phoenix is an ally. So Colossus also does have synergy right here. I think you can really use either Colossus or Storm. Technically, I think Colossus is probably the better character. But so this team sort of fluctuates a little bit. If I had to pick one to give the cut from this team, I would cut Colossus and put Colossus on another team. I consider Colossus the least of. I consider Phoenix, Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm, Beast, very classic X-Men. Technically not the original X-Men, but in my mind, like when I think X-Men, those are some of the first characters that come to my mind. Colossus to me is sort of like a second tier of X-Men, like Iceman, Gambit, Rogue, a lot of these other characters that are coming soon that are sort of really popular, really core to the X-Men team, but not like the core five, like not like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman to the Justice League. So kind of an interesting thing to think about. Maybe they will put Colossus on another team. But we have Psylocke here that we are forgetting about as well. And we have 6 new mutants coming with only 2 extras left over. So this is really... It's not going to be clean no matter how they cut it for these teams coming next patch. But let me show you some of my research. Right here, I did some Googling because these are some deep cut characters that I don't necessarily know a lot about myself. We have Shatterstar, again, right here when they talk about his common teams. X-Force is first up right here, so... You know, I really consider him an X-Force character. And then we have Longshot, and he's not like he was on X Factor. I don't know. Longshot's a pretty deep cut. Nobody really. But interestingly enough, there's the only X Factor they overlap with from my investigations on here is X Factor Investigations, which is not the core X Factor, I don't think, because this is the core X Factor. And the problem with the core X Factor team is literally like everyone's been on it. Let's see if I can find a list of the roster right here. You know, they really had like everyone on here at some point or another. So it doesn't quite work out that well, because as you can see, like Beast, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, Angel right there. You know, it doesn't really lead to a good team being made from here. So maybe they're going for this X Factor Investigations, and there are a couple of pretty good characters on X Factor Investigations that I think they could add. For example, Banshee, Havoc, very popular characters I think they could add to this game. Multiple Man, people love Multiple Man. Polaris, also very popular character. That is Magneto's daughter, for those of you guys that don't know. So, you know, those are some pretty big characters right here that I think could potentially fill out an X Factor team with Longshot and Shatterstar. So maybe what they're doing is they're adding Longshot and Shatterstar, but they're not going to be on a full team, and maybe they'll fill out this team later. Kind of weird, because again, Longshot and Shatterstar are already far out picks, and the fact that they're not going to have a team to work on is a little weird. I think what they're building this X Factor team around is perhaps this X Factor Investigations, because the other X Factor I find is just everyone. So like, it doesn't quite work out right there. You can see here's the X-Force. When they first said they were releasing Shatterstar, if they hadn't given him the X Factor tag, I would have assumed he was forming another X-Force team, because he could have put Psylocke and Colossus on there. And then you have some pretty big X-Force characters still, like Cannonball, or you also have Warpath. Warpath is another pretty big, okay, when I say pretty big, I mean people like him. Like we like seeing him in video games, but you're not going to see him in the MCU anytime soon. But that doesn't seem to be what they're going for because of this X Factor thing. Something else they could be going for is they mentioned the Mojo verse a lot. So that's something they could be delving into at some point. As you can see, Mojo right here, you know, they mentioned this Mojo verse is Gambit or something like that. They could add Mojo, and then Shatterstar and Longshot could be in a team, but Mojo is definitely not X Factor. So I think he's definitely a character we could see come to the game at some point. He's a somewhat popular character, a little gross looking, but you know, we could see him come to the game at some point, and maybe the 6 characters we're predicting coming to the game are wrong, but it's some interesting stuff to think about, and it sort of doesn't quite line up either way. No matter how you cut it, there's going to be some leftover characters, but what I think they're going to be going for is an uncanny team. Do this Phoenix, Wolverine, Cyclops. I think they might just keep Colossus, Storm, and Beast there, and then sort of have, you can use any of those 3, and then one gets sort of just left behind, and they might just sort of keep it that way, and then they'll do like another team with these 4 other new X-Men characters, where hopefully they'll put Psylocke on it, but maybe they will take Colossus and put him onto this other X-Men team right here, this astonishing X-Men team, and then they will just keep Longshot and Shatterstar and eventually fill out the theme. Those are my tentative predictions, but let me know what you think they're going to do with these characters. Always excited to see brand new characters come to this game, especially characters like Iceman. Very exciting, especially if he comes around winter. Perfect timing right there. But at the end of the day, what do I really know? Because I am only a 19-year-old. I hope everyone can have a happy and healthy day, and I'll see you guys later. Sign off, everyone.